Here comes the classic intro for the Embarc podcast, Griff. It was a default, setting, so we just go with it every time. But do you like that, or is it kind of? Yeah. Maybe we should go back to the Taking Back Sunday one. Like, maybe we could do both. Like, maybe a little bit of punk. There you go. I like that one a little bit better, but
it's a little hectic.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. So, do you have any suggestions of what we should start the podcast off with, or maybe some Michael Jackson, or
probably some Snoop or Dre?
The only problem is we probably have to pay them royalties, or they'll sue us. Yeah. So maybe we just have to get like some Mickey Mouse guy to create us a jingle.
It's crazy. They're a household name now. Snoop was killing people, and now everyone loves him. Carrying the torch.
The Chronic, is that the name of the album that came out when we were probably both in high school?
When no one knew what it meant.
Yeah.
Like, I got the Chronic.
It was super cool. Like a year or two ago, they were in the Super Bowl. Like, that just brought me back to my high school days. I was like, dude, I feel like I'm a schoolboy again watching this halftime show. I think they had Eminem, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent.
Oh yeah, the throwback one. That was cool.
Was that a Super Bowl in Dallas? You just lived there. Was that there, or was that somewhere else?
I don't know where that one was.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Dallas. Their stadium's gigantic, so I'm sure they're gonna have a Super Bowl there if they haven't already. But
it's gotta win.
Yeah, but speaking of Dallas, how was it living in Dallas? How long were you there for?
A little over 2 years.
Oh, nice. So, what made you move? Like, let's just start there. What made you move to Dallas? Like,
I've been selling in Texas forever.
Okay.
Since 2010, and so I've always liked it, and
it's a really good area.
Yeah, and then tried the whole solar thing out, and it was okay, but
yeah, I
wanted to live in Dallas if I was moving away from Utah. That was the only state we'd go.
Yeah, I miss Texas. I lived in the Austin area, went to school out at Texas State, and dude, the barbecue is phenomenal. Like, all the food,
wild.
It's
all the signs on the freeway don't even have a name; they just say BBQ on them. It's like, I don't know, it's barbecue.
And when I don't know if you got addicted to Whataburger, but no. Dude, we'd eat Whataburger probably every other day. I think I gained 10 pounds right when I moved there. Whataburger, and then there's a barbecue place called Rudy's. Did you ever eat at Rudy's?
Good, yeah.
Yeah. What other place? What was your go-to restaurants in Dallas?
Probably Gloria's. It's a Mexican restaurant, but it was a nicer dining Mexican.
A dining experience where you have to pay a waitress. Yeah.
Had a name, so it's a step up.
Yeah. The only part I didn't like about Texas were the humidity. I mean, did that take a while to get accustomed to? Or?
The first year was super rough.
Yeah.
But the second year, I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first, my first summer there, I was in a sauna. You go out there for 5 seconds and you're just drenched in sweat.
It's bad.
I'm sure it's miserable. I mean, you know how it is selling out in that.
And all the landscapers are in flannels and beekeeper helmet things, and wild.
I love it. So
no, Texas was good.
Okay, yeah. So let's go before Texas. Let's have you kind of introduce yourself a little bit about where you grew up. Let's just start there.
I grew up in Draper, Utah.
Okay.
Went to Alta. Lived the dream.
Straight. So you went to Alta. Is that up on the hill? That's in Draper, right?
That was the cool.
Is that where all the rich kids are?
Yeah, before Corner Canyon came into the scene. that was the spot.
It was considered all the uppity kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you actually have pride saying I was from Alta?
No.
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 So explain, what were you like in high school, Griff? Were you a kind of a jock guy, or more
no, I skated and snowboarded and played a lot of music and whatever.
Yeah. So Griff Erskine, you've been in the industry probably as long. I've probably been a little bit longer because I'm a little older than you. But Griff Erskine, just to kind of introduce Griff Erskine, at Embarc, you're one of the first major players to start with Embarc, right? I mean, we knew Clint from Atlas, or Clear Satellite Ties. You weren't at Atlas, but
no.
Actually, let's just go into that. How did you meet Clint? Get into Embarc.
So back in 2009,
I
started selling with my cousin Mark Erskine.
Okay. Yep.
Your cousin as well.
Yep. Both of our cousins. Just so you guys know, a side note, me and Griff are third or fourth cousins, somewhere right there. And we got into this industry because of our first cousin, Mark Erskine. His mom is my mom's sister, and Mark's dad is your dad's brother, something like that. So it's kind of funny, small world, but we all have these kind of weird cousin ties. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he got me. We were selling direct TV, and I was with Clear Home, Clear Satellite.
Yeah. Yeah, direct TV glory days.
Until 2018.
When we sold Dish and Direct, and on the shirt had a Dish and a Direct TV logo. Those are
Go find a place in Midvale that's daring to break copyright rules to do it for you.
People are always like, isn't that a conflict of interest? How do you have both logos? It's like having Pepsi and Coke on your shirt. Like, how does that?
I don't know. How's the dealership sell Ford and Chevy at the same time? They're like, oh, good point.
How does Walmart sell T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint, like all the different cell phone? Yeah, exactly.
The rural areas are like, he makes good points. Keep going.
They're just like, well, I'm too naive and uneducated. No, joking. No, the rural areas where people were definitely more open-minded to seeing that. But yeah, so yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. What were you?
So yeah, and I met Clint. I guess it was like 2012 or 13.
Okay.
He came over to Clear for a little while. And then I've had friends that have worked, and sold internet with him, and so. After solar down in Dallas, I reached out. People weren't wanting Dish. No one wanted to get pay for TV anymore. I was like, I'm on the wrong end of this.
It's like streaming's been the major player the last how many years? 10 years, and it seems Dish just kind of hangs around, but still people are selling it. But it's just getting everyone calls it a dinosaur, right? So
people are paying for it. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And they don't watch it. They're like, we don't watch it.
But we pay $180 a month for it. Yeah. Nah, I'm just set in my ways. Yeah. So basically, you're at a transition where Dish is just kind of like, it's just a dinosaur. You go into solar.
Yeah, I was selling in Texas, and the Rangers were killing it last year. Went to the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
And Dish lost Bally Sports. So it's just like,
oh, no. So
people that didn't even watch sports would call mad they weren't getting the Rangers.
Yeah, it's like impossible to sell, especially when your team's like the best team in the league, right?
I know.
So solar came into play, and people have killed it at solar. How did that go?
I don't know. I just couldn't figure it out in Dallas. Guys were doing well.
Yeah,
I was just probably middle of the line, and
there's just a lot of saturation too, right? Like
saturation, just a long process. Maybe I don't have the patience for it. I don't know. Yeah. It's a grind. So
what really drew you to solar? Like, hey, this is actually what I want to focus on now. This is going to kind of be my bread and butter. What is it about solar that kind of drew you to is what I'm asking.
Before I knew how it really worked, it made a lot of sense. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah. Like, no one can run from their power bill. So why wouldn't they try and put a stop to it somehow?
Yeah. And then what drew you to the fiber? Was it just the ease of the sell or
the fiber? Just everyone needs internet. I mean, Nest thermostats, doorbell cams. Like, it's not just a computer anymore. It's people are getting rid of TV.
Yeah,
and they rely on their internet. So, old people like I've always just sold old people and focused on them because.
Yeah, they're the best.
They want to save money.
Favorite.
They had good credit.
Yeah.
They had all day. They were home in the middle of the day. It was just like perfect. But now anybody can get it and wants fast internet. Yep. So
sometimes, I don't know if you're in the same page as me, but sometimes when I see 55 and older retirement communities, my eyes just light up because they're home all day. They have nothing better to do but nickel and dime all their bills, and if they can save $10 and help go towards one of their prescriptions that they or anything, it just seems like they're the old people are my people. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
except for Tuesdays and Wednesdays when they got doctor's appointments, gets to be a ghost town.
And they do have to have their landline, right? When the doctor calls, they have to have their landline intact, or that one friend that they haven't talked to in 40 years. So,
but no, fiber's good. I don't focus on old people. Younger people care more about fast internet than the old people.
Yeah, it seems like fiber, old people, young people, they all need it. But like you were saying, young people, they're getting rid of TV. It's just all about streaming. And if you have your program interrupted, how frustrating is that? It's I think that's one of my biggest selling points when I'm selling it is does your TV ever get that circle spinning wheel of death? I don't know if that's what you call it, but the buffering, there's like, if anyone has that, like they're pretty much going to buy, and they don't care how much it's going to be. Like they hate when their programs are interrupted. I'm sure like you found that.
Yeah,
right?
all your neighbors hate when it sits and spins on the TV. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's one of the first questions I ask when I'm out there. I'm like, do you ever get that that buffering, circling, spinning wheel? Anytime they say yes, usually it's pretty easy to. So, but yeah, like I agree, fiber is like definitely the easiest. Everyone needs it from young to old. Everyone's getting rid of TV packages, it seems like nowadays, and getting, good, reliable internet to stream everything. So anything else about like fiber that you love? Like what draws you to it? What excites you about it?
It's just easy. Like I said, everyone hates their internet.
Yeah.
Like it's not hard to find people that don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a quick sell. It's non-threatening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool too because like there's so much opportunity, right? Like it seems there's I can't remember what the government grant.
Yeah, I didn't want to misspeak on the facts, but they put more money into fiber than they did to solar.
Yeah, and there's tons of contractors out there that are just expanding it into all these rural areas, and selling dish. I know we both love those rural areas. Like, I mean, back in the day, we would just country road, right? We wouldn't even really knock towns. We just go out to all the farmers and the like maybe towns of like 100 people. That was like our
Just
bread and butter
along the sides of the highway.
And most of the time, fiber it was in the big cities, and it's all super saturated. People aren't as nice.
It's like I don't want to go sell in Atlanta.
I don't want to go sell in the city. So that's another thing that I love about fiber is it's now mostly in rural communities
which is where the money is.
Yeah.
So.
People, like we said before, people are super nice, easy to talk to. It's the easiest sell. Everyone wants it. Everyone hates paying for their dish bill.
The smaller the town, the better it'll be because the less options they have. So,
So when you're out there, you got it right now. You're kind of like a regional over all these reps and stuff. So, how much time of your time goes into like area research? Like, is it pretty easy? Just like, I'll just go anywhere. It's going to be good. Or how much? Like, what do you actually do to invest your time into area research? What kind of things do you do?
I just get on broadband now and punch in the zip code and see if there's any fiber companies and nothing crazy.
So what are like maybe 3 or 4 of your like, oh, this is a gold mine, like things that stand out? Is it whether it be a specific company or whether it be just something about the area? Like, what are your maybe like 3 big points of okay, this area is good to go to?
Just Midwest.
So
small, like
so first
couple
Midwest,
1,000 people.
Small. Anything about the competitors, like any cable providers that pop out, you're like, oh yeah, I like to sell against those guys.
Sparklight's good to sell against. Spectrum, Mediacom's easy.
Is it mainly just because of their price or
just old stuff?
Yeah,
and they've done the song and dance for 15 years. I mean, my first summer I was selling against Mediacom. Yeah, that's how long they've been around.
And they suck back then.
They're still doing the same old tricks. People are tired of it.
Yeah. I couldn't believe in one town I was in, I was selling against Mediacom, and just for, I think it was 500 megabits, they were paying like $130. I was like, why wouldn't the whole town switch, I
know.
So it's definitely an exciting time, so much opportunity. And the cool thing about fiber is it's just growing. Like it's like a big blaze, a fire. You can think of like a forest fire, it's just going like crazy right now. Yeah.
It's taking off.
Yeah. So much opportunity. So it's super exciting. So with the guys that you work with now, like where your teams are all at? I know you have several guys all over the country. Like,
yeah, I have some guys in Louisiana, Arkansas, and then I guess that's it right now.
Cool. What are they mainly selling right now? Like what service provider?
Brightspeed.
Okay. Is there anything about Brightspeed that you think they kind of like favor that over others? Like, is there anything that stands out about Brightspeed?
No, last July I was doing Fidium, and the areas kind of got skimpy towards the end, and Brightspeed came in at the perfect time, and
cool.
So everybody that came in from then on, I just had them start on Brightspeed because it was old trusty by then.
Yeah. I've ever since I joined Embarc, Brightspeed's been my bread and butter too. Obviously, the migrations are nice, but I think just the stickiness of the cell. I remember when I first got in, they were charging for the first month up front, and most people were like, "No, we need to like
Yeah, you
like,
can't
take that out. But you said something really interesting to me. Like, what did you say about the first month of why you liked it, of them paying that up front?
Paying the first month?
Yeah, well, like because they had to pay something up front. What made you like say that? Oh, they're more.
They're just stickier customers. They've already paid. They're not canceling.
Yeah. So when you said that, it kind of like struck a bulb. Like, oh yeah, and I noticed that my cancellation rate was super low because when people like they're making a commitment and they pay something up front, like usually they're not going anywhere, right? But with other service providers, it seems like the cancellation's a little bit more higher up but now Brightspeed's gone away with that. Now the first month is free,
Yeah.
But still, just knowing that like they're actually kind of like committing to something first, kind of like, because there's other like providers like Fidium where you just sign them up in 5 minutes and it's fine, but have you noticed that they're not as sticky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, when you get their card number, they take things more serious.
Yeah. So whether it be like a card number or like having them go through all these third-party verifications or whatever, it seems like when they're like kind of doing more of like committing, whether giving out a card number or whatever it seems like they're going to stick. They're not going to like go anywhere. So,
yep.
But that's one thing I like about Brightspeed. Brightspeed's been amazing, and they have really good areas, so that's exciting. So
yeah, people love it.
Cool. So with your plans right now, it looks like you're back in Utah now, right?
Back in the 801.
So what was that like moving back to Utah? Was it kind of like did you forget? Yeah,
it's a journey.
What are the maybe like the things you like about moving back?
Just when we moved, I felt like Utah was so crowded.
Yeah. Oh, like it was more crowded. Okay.
Not oblivious that Dallas is a bigger city, but we were up on the north end of Dallas, and traffic was so terrible. Yeah. Anywhere we went, like Dallas has all these cool things to do, but they were always an hour and a half from our house because Texas is huge. And traffic adds into it. So just seems like less people. I can get around easier.
Yeah, and obviously you grew up here, so you have more ties in Utah and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Texas was, I mean, if it was my choice, I'd probably move back just because I have a bunch of family there. But yeah, moving to Utah, definitely you have the Utah culture. Unless you're from Utah, you don't really know what we mean when we talk about Utah culture. But there's definitely more of a judgmental feel, don't you feel? Like you have to be more, your parents and everything, you have to be this perfect model.
But now I come back and I'm like, geez, you shouldn't worry what I look like. You should see what's going on in Texas.
Yeah, it's crazy how the culture is so much different. Like even when you're out selling, you notice people are just so different out there. So So kind of going into that, I know like you've done this for what 20 years, about the same.
Not 20, 15.
Okay, I'm about 20, so that's probably why I said 20.
Guilty.
Yeah, I'm up there, but just like. It's so cool about this job because you meet all walks of life, right? From like all over. You meet like from the guy that lives in a shoebox to the person that lives in a mansion. You know how to talk to pretty much everyone, right? Yep. So I know, Griff, you've had a lot of experience and a lot of actually great stories that you've probably ran into. Just kind of lighten. It's just for a fun little like section of this podcast. Is there any like stories that kind of stick out that you can share with us to kind of please the audience? Or?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what one that would be worthy for this would be.
I got one good after you.
But the year was 2018.
There I was on the street in my cardigan.
I was out in Indiana, just kind of country road and sniffing around on these little roads, and knocked into this guy. And he opens the door, and he's got like this flannel button-down shirt that's open. Yeah. He's got sweats on, kind of sweaty.
Okay, kind of sweaty.
Not sure what was going on.
Yeah.
And he lets me into his house. I'm selling dish, and I start looking on his wall. And there's these super weird collages that he's made, and he's cut little pictures of girls out and just like half a face, and then someone else's half a face, and they're all over his house. Like, this is getting weird.
Like so all over the walls?
Like on poster boards, like a school project, but I don't know.
Kind of like a serial killer almost.
Obviously I wanted to see what was going on, so I kept pushing with the sell, and he's taking me around to show me all of his TVs, like what rooms have TVs in them. Yeah. And I'm walking past this room, and I like thought someone was laying on the bed. I was like, what? Oh. I turn over and there's a mannequin in lingerie laying like this on the bed. And he's like, oh, don't mind her. And we just kept walking. I was like, what is going on? But the collages were super weird. I got pictures of them. Just weird stuff.
Like, yeah, you'll have to send me them and I can put them on the video. He had
sticky notes of like random times, like 4:08 was like stuck on his mantle of it. Just weird stuff. Probably a serial killer for sure. For sure.
So did you end up selling them? Or?
Yeah.
And he lived alone, right?
Lived alone.
Okay. Where was this?
Outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, yeah. You definitely.
Seems like that's where all the serial killers go. Like kind of like hang out,
Kansas City and or Wichita.
But no, that one was. It was weird and creepy, but I had to keep pushing because I needed to get documentation for it.
Yeah.
But
that's hilarious.
That was a good one. Yeah.
So you and me, we actually sold 2 summers together. First one was kind of like a by area.
Well,
it was
kind of 3.
Oh, well, yeah, it was 3. So it was Peoria. We started in Peoria, and then we were in these like nice apartments, right? Like it was just me. I had one roommate, and we had like a 2-bedroom apartment. It was just like awesome. We were like, okay, this is cool. And then I think I was only there for like, you guys were there longer, but I was there for like maybe 3 weeks. And then you're like, okay, we're moving to Quincy.
Yeah.
And do you remember where we lived?
We're moving to the Days Inn.
Yeah. So Quincy, Illinois is right off the Mississippi, and there's like no apartments. I guess there is apartments, but there's nothing available at that time, right?
Yeah, there's like 30,000 people there.
And there's nothing available. So we had to live in this like, Days Inn. I don't know if you guys stayed in Days Inn, but you know how terrible Days Inn could be. Cockroaches, bugs, everything smells moldy, hairs in your bed. Like
you were cooking salmon in the microwave. That was awesome.
So it was me and this other guy named Cowdrey, and I was trying to lose weight. I was like, I was motivated. I was doing like the P90X workouts in my room. So that's another thing you probably hated. But yeah, every day I'd make like nasty. I'd cook this nasty fish or shrimp, and it would just stink up the whole room. And then plus I'd do my P90X workouts in the morning. So it was a mixture of fish and my BO. And at the time I was like, I probably wasn't even thinking that it was disgusting, but now I feel bad for my roommate.
I know, and the office did so good because no one wanted to stay in the hotels. Everyone was like up at 8 a.m. and knocking till late. No one wanted to be there.
Yeah. And then at night there was actually a swimming pool. So that was like one nice thing about it. And then do you remember that old crickety like underground gym we'd go to?
Yeah. That place was rad.
Did you find that? Or?
Yeah.
So what was that? Like how did you even
under
find
an
that
old
place?
tanning salon down in the basement.
And
you had to go through the weeds in the backyard and come down these weird stairs. They gave you like your actual own metal key.
A metal key.
It's like the skeleton key.
They're like, we only have 5 of these. You better not lose it.
Put it on me.
You're now initiated into the skeleton gym club. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, we've sold. Then we were in Wichita.
Yeah.
And then Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah. So Wichita, that was kind of an interesting area. We were like in this like all-star office. It was you and Tim Anglesey. If you guys have been in the door industry, you might have ran into Tim Anglesey a few times. But
AKA the Slice.
The Slice, yeah. Me and Griff have a fond love for the Slice, but
Slice needs an air horn.
Yeah. But I remember that team was amazing because we were all like heavy. I think the worst person in the office maybe did like 300.
Yeah.
For the summer, which is incredible selling.
If you were
dish.
slacking, you hit like around 300.
Yeah, and I remember when I first got there, I was like, "Do we even need to be managed?" Like, but like you were in charge of area, I think, and you gave me this amazing area. I can't remember what it was called, but do you remember that first area you gave me in Kansas? It was. I don't know.
I'd have to look at my journal.
I was there for a month and just slaying it, and I was like, "This is the best place on earth." And then every night or every weekend, we'd go to remember the Warren.
Yeah,
yeah. So there's this movie theater called the Warren, and at the very top, it was like this like specialized like for the elite going to the movies where they had all this ice cream food.
They were like ahead of their time because Texas it's like that luxury dine-in theater.
Yeah,
that was 2013.
Yeah. Now that's like a norm, but our whole goal would be like, hey, we have to slay it so we can earn the Warren. It was what we'd call it. And Tim was just like, he's the biggest movie buff ever, so he would make the biggest deal about we have to go to the Warren every
get it organized.
Yeah, And we'd all go in there like we're kings. We'd slay it for the week. And then we just all like stuff ourselves with ice cream sitting on those big sofas at the top. Yeah. It was like a top tier level where you'd look down.
That's where we were when the tornado came through. Remember
that? Yeah. Good old Kansas.
We had to go hide in the bathroom.
Yeah. That was a super fun summer. And then from there, we moved to, what was it, Dodge?
Yeah, middle of nowhere, Kansas.
So if any of you, there's actually a Netflix documentary on Wyatt Earp, but from Tombstone. But part of the gunslingers, like Old Wild West, was like in Dodge City. And I'm like, we're going to Dodge City? Like,
get out of Dodge.
Yeah. And I remember when we went out there, it just smelled like cow manure. Remember that? It's just like big clouds of like, you'd look out and it'd just be clouds of like poop. I don't even know what it was, but
manure
it was like,
infused with the fumes from the Tyson chicken factory that was down the street.
It's like the most worst like smelling town ever. I'm like, where are we now, guys? Like, this is the second time we've moved. And I remember first we found this like incredible place. Like, I mean, it was like luxurious. It was like way above where the Days Inn was. And then it turns out, this place is too expensive.
Like, you got to pay if you want to stay.
So I moved me and my wife and all of our crap into this like crappy Hotel 8 or something, a Super 8. And all of our stuff was like stacked up to the very top of the ceiling. Just like, there's no room. You couldn't even move. It's just me, my wife, and our little dog. And I was just like, yeah. And it was a great area, so I'm glad we went there. But I was like, I can't even tell you how many times we said, I can't wait to get out of Dodge, or what was the saying?
That's the thing, though. Sometimes
get the heck out of Dodge. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
Some of the best areas are like the worst to do. Like,
yeah,
this area in Louisiana has a Sonic and a Subway.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Or some crunchy chicken something from the gas station.
It's like almost like the worst places to live, and with the worst options is like the best place to sell in.
Usually a fun area is not going to be good to sell.
Yeah, it's not like the best thing you can do is go to like the strip mall they have of like maybe five stores at their strip mall downtown, which is like not even a downtown, There's like a KFC and a Subway, and that's about it. Yeah.
Just start eating freaking weird gas station food.
Yeah. So one of my funny stories, I just kind of, like I mentioned, I had one. I think it was like that summer even too in Wichita. So I was at this guy's house. He was just like a, traditional Midwest guy. He lived alone. And when I approached him, I don't know if you've ever approached people that are mowing their lawns, but you first think to yourself, do I want to stop this guy from mowing his lawn, or should I just come back? And I was like, I'm just going to stop him. Like, whatever, I don't care. The worst thing you can do is just like tell me no and then keep mowing. So I stop him and I end up like selling him. And he was a super nice guy, and I really had to go to the bathroom. So I was like, hey, before I leave, can I go and use your restroom? He's like, yeah, I'm just going to finish up mowing the lawn. Just go and use my restroom. And I'm like, okay. So I, do my thing. Comes time for me to leave, get out of the bathroom, and the door is locked. And there's no one else in the home, and I can't get out of the bathroom. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay. He's out mowing his lawn, and the lawn was huge. It was probably like 2 or 3 acres of like just lawn. You know how those Midwest lawns are?
Yeah.
And he's out in his riding lawnmower with his headset on, or, listening to music and super loud. He can't hear me. And he's like, from looking at him, he probably had another hour or so of mowing. So I'm locked. He's out mowing and I'm stuck in his bathroom. And you know how you are as sales reps, like you want to get to the next door. And I think that was my first deal. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be stuck in this bathroom for an hour. I need to go out and make sales. This is going to be the worst. So the first thought came to my mind was like, I'm going to open the window and try to scream at him like when he comes by. So he's out doing like a square, So I see him coming. I'm like, okay, now's my chance. So I open up this tiny little bathroom window, and it couldn't even open all the way. So I had to like barely stick my head through the crack. And as soon as he come, I'm like, hey, 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 just trying to get his attention. He drives right by and doesn't even see. I'm just like, no. So I'm like, okay, got to scream louder. So I see him going down. It takes probably like 10 minutes, 15 minutes per each round for him to come back around. Second time, I'm like, hey, I got to get louder this time. Scream my head off. Hi! I'm trying to put my hand out. Can you see me? Doesn't see me. This probably happened I'd probably say 10 times.
Jeez.
And finally I got his attention. And I was just like, I think it was probably like maybe 45 minutes like in the bathroom screaming, trying to get his attention.
I just started chucking stuff at him. Have him mow over some shaving cream.
Yeah, and they finally came in the house, and he couldn't get it open either. and he was all panicking. Like, I don't know what happened. So I'm on the other side of the door and he's on the other. And he's like, well, you got to wiggle it. You got to pull down the knob. You got to like push it this way and trying to instruct. And it was I was probably trying to like undo the lock for probably, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And finally I just like panicked and just put my weight into it and opened him like, oh. But no, like thinking about like that was hell. But thinking about it's just one of those stories that you only can get those kind of experiences for doing summer sales and like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best part. You just meet the weirdest people, weirdest situations. Yeah. I have family members who are like, where are you? Do you ever talk to normal people?
Well, you have this photo. I don't even know if you're the one that took it, but a guy that has no nose.
Yeah.
What was that thing?
The no nose. He comes out on Valentine's Day. I made a Valentine's Day.
Was it in a trailer park or what was it? Okay.
I don't know.
Somewhere.
Just had Mountain Dew pants on and no nose.
If I can get a picture of this, I might put it on the video too on YouTube. Yeah.
I'll get you.
But what did you even sell that guy? Or was he just like acting like normal?
No, he just was
like,
weird. Didn't have TV. This was back when I was selling TV. He just opened the door, but you could just hear all this air coming in and out of his nose. Yeah. Just like he's probably not around anymore.
And this kind of stuff happens even now. Like just recently I was in Alabama. Clint was trying to come in. I was in Alabama, and I knock on this door, and the lady cracks the door open, and I can see half of her body, and she's completely naked, and I can see like how, and she's just like, "Hey, I slept in. I'm not ready for the day," and she's like, "I'm actually naked," and I could like see like part of her. I'm like, and I sold her at the door with the door like a little bit cracked open, butt naked, and I did the whole deal with her naked.
No shame.
Yeah, no shame.
No shame.
And she didn't care. And like I didn't see what, thankfully I didn't see all of it, but like I could see half like the side of it, and I was just like, and it's funny because you have to like kind of like tailor yourself to how people are, like almost shadow them. Like if she doesn't care, I'm gonna act like I didn't care.
Yeah.
So the whole time I acted like she was just normal, like it didn't even faze me.
Take your shirt off.
But if I wasn't in that door-to-door setting, I would have been like, what the.
Yeah,
I probably would have left and been like, yeah, but I was just like, yeah, she's naked. It's cool.
That's the part with this job that I like is you're going into these parts of America where people don't even know exist, and you're like ground level, peeling things back, really seeing what Arkansas or Louisiana or Alabama.
Yeah. Any other crazy experiences that come to your mind, or just anything that was funny that happened when we were out slinging?
I don't know. There's been so many. I mean,
yeah,
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean, if we go into, you could probably, if you think about it, there's just countless stories you can tell. But the cool thing about this job that I love, that usually I pitch to reps that are getting into this, is there's obviously like pros and cons to every job, but to this job, it feels like you are your own boss. You determine how much you're going to make. You're not tied to like some like building where you have to clock in and clock out and a manager's over your shoulder. Do you feel like that's kind of like one of the main reasons why you've been in this industry for so long?
Yeah, I couldn't do a normal job. No, I couldn't have people breathing down my neck. And
Micromanaging.
Well, we have bosses to an extent, but we're pretty much free to do whatever.
Yeah, and you get whatever you put into it, right? It's like your own business. It's like you're an entrepreneur. Like you can literally start your own business with Embarc or with any door-to-door company, which is amazing. Which is what I love about the whole door-to-door industry is it's like your own business, and you have a bunch of guys selling them, that you manage. Mm-hmm. It's like literally your own business, and you make like a huge percentage of the production that comes into Embarc. So, and it's super exciting. You're here now. You're gonna actually start working in the office a little bit, but with Brightspeed, you're gonna work with me and Mark, and
way fun.
So now that you're in Utah, it's kind of like it's gonna be super fun having you around, and I'm sure all of you are going to hear a lot more of Griff. He's going to be help managing not only Brightspeed, but with Fidium and a few other internet service providers, and definitely help with training and whatever the company needs. So
there's a lot of good stuff coming. I think it's best months are coming up for sure.
So with Griff's experience, like in this industry, I mean, he's a huge resource. Like you pretty much have been around the block more than a few times.
Jared.
Literally.
Just once.
Just once. And just with your experience, it's just like you're so valuable to the company, and we're super pleased to have you in our company. You're a huge asset to everyone. So, to kind of close the podcast, like what kind of advice do you have to just reps just getting into it? Like when you have a new recruit, like how do you help them, or what advice do you give to them?
There's no quick way to do it.
Yeah.
Other than to just go do it. Like even, doing migrations and upgrades for so long and then getting back into selling new accounts.
Yeah.
I'd like get pouty and like, I don't want to get out and have to go knock. And then I was like, new guys are doing it. I've done this for so long.
Yeah.
And you just got to find a rhythm, and you can only get into a rhythm by just getting out and working. Like
putting in the hours. Yeah.
Days I don't do well, I'm on my phone, I'm calling people, and days where I like buckle down, I notice like I won't eat lunch. I mean, I just, when I get out there, I try to pretend like I have a boss that's breathing down my neck. Like when I'm going out, I'm knocking at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's like 9:50, and I'm like at the gas station making the lady hurry because I got to be in my area.
Yeah.
And no one cares. It's just me out there. But if I don't hold myself or make myself feel like that, it's easy to be like, I'll get out at 3.
Yeah. I'll still get deals when it's prime time, right?
So I just pretend like people care, that they can see what time I'm starting.
Yeah.
And
that's good. I like that. Just some like, kind of like in the back of your mind, like there's someone standing behind my shoulder making sure I'm, because obviously accountability goes into this job too. It's always good to have, some type of accountability. Otherwise, you're like you said, you're just going to be like, oh, whim it, just go out whenever. But if you actually set yourself to a schedule, like I'm committing, because in a way, like, have you ever, I mean, for me personally, if I don't work all the hours, I come home and I just feel like crap, even if it was like,
even if I had a good day, but I came home early, I still feel like a little slimy that I ditched out early.
Exactly. And it's like, it's not worth it. It's just, I don't want to feel that way. I just got to stay out another hour. And then you make another like couple $100 and you're like, geez, like.
You just got to play games in your mind about things like, I'm going to go get 2 more, then I can have dinner.
Yeah. So that's kind of like one of your biggest advice to reps is just kind of stick to a schedule.
Stick to a schedule and just grind it out. There's no way to that's the only way to, get over the learning curve, which isn't very hard with fiber, I don't feel like.
Yeah. So when you're out selling, just to kind of, just as like a sales text, maybe something some reps can start using, because you've had so much experience. It might be even different for each person that you talk to, but what are some of your like go-to closes when you close a deal? Like, are you like more of a hard close, soft close, option close guy? Like, how do you usually like close the deal?
I usually option close and kind of trick them into one or the other.
Okay, so can you give us an example of like how you'd do that?
Just like, do you want to do the same speed as your neighbor across the street, or do you want to do the gig speed?
Okay.
I mean, just things like that, like in just little tips. Like, and it takes a minute to learn, but paying attention to how people react when you bring up things, or like your door approach, how they react right off the bat. If they raise their eyebrows and they seem like surprised that you're there. Yeah. They're probably gonna do it. I've been seeing, because
like, you're here.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard about it.
I was thinking about it. Yeah. But option close is your go-to.
Option close.
Okay.
I just
keep it simple.
It's so easy because it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's like you're picking one or the other. Any one you pick, you're doing it.
They can't say yes or no to. It's either this one or that one.
Yeah, I did an option close this last week in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, do you want to go grab your bill to see what you're paying? And he showed me, and I'm like, oh, cool. So we'll just do the gig speed then. Unless you want to do the 500. And he's like, no, the gig's fine. And then he pauses and he's like, I guess we're doing this, huh? And I'm like, I guess so.
It's like assumption close. You're just assuming it. Yeah. Have you ever done the full on assumption where you're just like, you just start signing them up without them?
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, well, how do you spell your name? And you just go right into it. I actually like that a lot, because you just let them stop you. Like, if they don't stop you, just keep going.
Yeah. They're going to say something if they're not okay with it.
Yeah. I like
Unless
that. Yeah.
They're 90.
Yeah.
I don't strong arm 90-year-olds.
Yeah. I think option close is my go-to too as well. But yeah, just being really assumptive, like assume the sell. a lot of times, like, it's just a transfer of energy. If you feel super excited and you're just like, if you're already assuming that they're going to get it, most of the time they're just going to assume that they're going to get it too. Like,
yeah, it's for sure. Like days where I'm not in a good mood.
Yeah.
You'll go out and you'll work just as hard and you're saying the same things, but you don't do as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus days where you're on this carefree mood, like people can sense it. And so whatever you have to do to get your mind right. Exactly. Sometimes I'll drink 3 energy drinks till I can get into character to go knock.
Oh man, I think door to door. I'm gonna blame door to door. It got me addicted to energy drinks. People are just gonna gasp, but I think I drink 2 to 3 every day. I've been doing that for the last 15 years. I think
built up a tolerance.
Yeah. It's like I could drink a 20-ounce, thing of soda right before bed and sleep like a baby.
It's probably not good for you to quit now.
Yeah, I might actually be worse if I quit.
Start getting the shakes. You have to get checked in somewhere.
Start getting all the Anyway, it's been a long ride. It's been great, and the whole fiber industry is something that's so exciting. And both me and Griff have been doing this forever, and we're still here. We love it. It's not something that you just do for college or something to just get you by when you're young. Like, you can literally make this a career, make your own business out of it.
Yep.
And it's something you can be passionate about. Something that it's not like you're clocking in, clocking out. It's like it's something that you can own, and something that can be like a integral part of your life of building something great. And I'm super excited to be here with Embarc, and I'm super excited that you're going to be working in the office, and we're going to be helping y'all. A lot of these reps that are listening to this, they're going to hear a lot more of Griff and have a lot more of his expertise come and play in their work life. So, but yeah, we're super grateful to have you on, and
for sure
excited for the future.
I know, I'm pumped to be back.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.